And can you hear me?
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. Thanks for your patience. Stuff to take care of. So welcome to tonight's committee of the whole meeting, April 13th, 2026. We have met compliance with all official notifications. I shall call this meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Laura Gapsky.
Here.
Shelley Moen.
Here.
Nick Olson.
Here.
Sarah Schubert McCone.
Here.
Catherine Gamon.
Oh, and
She is on and I could hear her. Catherine, can you hear us?
right.
Yep, here we go. I'm here.
Here it is.
Yay. Jen's here too.
Okay. Nick Schumacher here. President Steve Olson.
Here too. Thank you. This meeting is a meeting of the Board of Education held in public for the purpose of conducting the school district's business and is not to be considered a public community meeting. There is a time for comments by members of the public during the meeting as indicated on the agenda. Members of the public wishing to address the board on any of the topics included on tonight's agenda may do so by signing up on the public comment sign-up sheet by the entrance prior to the start of the meeting. The board requests refraining from making any comments involving personally identifiable information about students, staff, or administration. Comments should be respectful, focused on the items being considered by the board, and will be restricted to 3 minutes in length. Action taken at today's meeting is to be forwarded for recommendation for final approval at the next regular school board meeting on April 20, 2026. So our first order of business tonight, comments by any members of the public. We do have one, Kyle Smith. Welcome, Kyle.
Oh, I got my timer now. Ann, I don't think I gave you permission to use that one picture. She sent it to me and said how cute it was, and I didn't know why she said it. Or what it was for.
It's not part of your 3 minutes, but
Okay, not start my timer here. Okay, so I'm gonna probably stay with what I wrote down just so I can make sure I get it all in here. So now we'll start. I want to take a few minutes, no more than 3, to put into context the increase of the 2% on the teacher's salary and mention the handbook change regarding sick days. SFT understands and appreciates the economic situation of the school district and the economic situation of education as a whole in the state of Wisconsin and lack of equitable support. Tonight, the board, you all will vote on to add 2% to the base step to the bachelor's and master's teacher's salary, as well as adding 2% to the other groups. I want to acknowledge that SFT appreciates the distinction of the 2 schedules of the BA and MA being separated, knowing in the past the district had only used the BA base wage for the increases. This is the 2nd year for calculating the use of this method. I also want to state that only 15 teachers out of 317 teachers will receive a true 2% increase to their wages because they are on the BA base wage. There are no, I believe, MA first step for masters. We acknowledge teachers still on BA and MA steps will receive more than CPI when they include their step increase. However, we view those as separate matters. I think it also should be pointed out of the 317 teachers, 203 teachers will receive less than 2% increase because they are at the top of either the BA or MA scale. In fact, those at the top of the BA scale, there's 70, will receive 1.35% increase. Those at the top of the MA, 171 teachers, will receive 1.3% of their salary. Looking at all the other groups, it seems that they will receive a true 2% on their actual salary. I'm not looking to take from one group to pay the other, but simply wanted to point out that the difference between the teachers at the top of their respective scales are getting much less than 2%, the 1.35% and the 1.3%. SFT looks forward to working with the committee that Superintendent Starzecki mentioned, would be forming to look at teachers' salary scales and other incentives that have come up at listening sessions. I think the handbook change being discussed tonight, which allows someone who is at their max for sick days in their last year of teaching be able to receive credit to bring them back up to 150 days, albeit it's a small number of teachers in this situation. It shows the district is listening to teachers and looking for alternative methods of compensation. I know additional personal days for longevity or being able to carry over more personal days, perhaps maybe looking at converting our HIR sick days instead of putting them in an HRA. Maybe we could do a 403B like the administration, which they get for their full day of pay. These are just a few simple and affordable ways to improve the whole compensation package. And again, SFT looks forward to working together with the district to make Superior a destination district. Sorry, Ann, that's 14 seconds on. So thank you.
Do you have anything else to add? Because we can increase your time.
All right, tell me. No, I'm good. I just want to highlight those 2. Sorry. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kyle.
Next on tonight's agenda is our report from our superintendent.
Okay, we have a handful of things, but tonight we have one presentation. Mr. Jensen's here as his first report as principal of Great Lakes. Welcome.
Know most of all of you, but for those of you who don't know me, I'm Dave. Dave Jensen, current principal at Great Lakes Elementary. I've been there since January 2nd. Worked with Ryan Haraldson throughout the month of December, a little bit of late November on a transition. January 2nd was my first day. I'm going to share some highlights, a couple challenges that I've noticed in the 3.5 months that I've been there. So. Starting off with some celebrations. Right out of the gates, I noticed there's a very positive school climate that resonates throughout the building. And for anybody who's been in a building with a positive school climate, it's never just one factor that contributes to that. And what I've seen is that there's a staff that cares just tremendously about all the students there, all their needs, not just their academic needs, but the whole student. We have an amazing PBIS team that meets monthly and coordinates a lot of fun activities for staff and students. That's definitely a contributor. Family engagement events. We're grateful to have Heather Rosen help us out. She's the Northern Lights Family Engagement Coordinator, but she really puts together some great family events for the families. And then, of course, I learned early on, and I'm not saying that just because Sarah's here, we have an amazing PTO. They do so much for our teachers and our students. So we're lucky to have them. So all that contributes to the positive school climate there. Another thing I learned early on, which I kind of knew was in place before coming over, is the strong established PLC structures that Ryan's got in place. On Tuesdays is when we have our PLC meetings. Stepping into those meetings, it's a well-oiled machine. It's I mean, the levels of collaboration and conversations about curriculum, student needs, RTI, it's impressive to see. And then, of course, the other part of that is the RTI systems that are in place for really catching those kids when they're not quite grasping the concepts. And it's not just the kids that are struggling, it's also challenging the ones who need that extra challenge.
Not working.
And can you advance it or no?
Oh, it's not working.
Oh, there we go. Maybe
Battery's dying.
Just give me one second.
All right. Another celebration is just we're in full swing right now of spring testing. Forward testing, and all of our spring benchmarks, our aims, and our different other assessments. As of right now, we're finished with our 5th and 3rd grades, and this week we're starting our 4th grade. 4th grade, it's a little more involved because they have more tests that they take, but we're starting off the week really solid. Teachers and the paras working with the kids proctoring. They've said that the kids are doing amazing, just staying positive, focused. They're coming to school rested, ready to go. And then, of course, the flip side of that is the level of flexibility from our staff to pull together a testing schedule. I mean, there's a lot of give and take to create a really good testing window to give everybody enough time. One last thing on the school celebrations here. And every week I send out a weekly newsletter, and I started a shout out section. And it's just a chance for staff to highlight or thank another colleague for something they did or something they've noticed. And this was one from this week's newsletter. And it just kind of speaks to the positive climate that's over at Great Lakes right now. And it says, shout out to all the staff at Great Lakes Elementary, from paras, custodians, kitchen workers, teachers. You all show so much care, patience, and dedication to our school and students. I look forward to coming to work every day because of our positive environment. So that's just a testament of what's in place over there. So lucky to have that. Couple challenges, and I'll touch briefly on this on our CPR card, but 23-24, the truancy rate was right around 8%. 24-25 school year, that jumped to 18%. And a lot of the work in the CPR card is centered around attendance and truancy. And I'm seeing that as being kind of a challenge right now. I work with we have our building truancy team, and we have a lot of students with high levels of truancy. And we have, I would say, at the district and building level, we have well-established systems in place. What I'm seeing as a challenge is the levels of support outside of the district. And when I say support, it's the different, whether it be mental health support, social work support, just to help remove those barriers. And the barriers are different for every family to get the kids to school each day. another challenge that I've noticed. And again, I know that on a regular basis, we are always hiring and onboarding new substitute teachers, which is great. But what I see is some days, if we're missing a couple or one can create a dynamic. If we have a classroom where no sub picked up that job, we then have to find a para to put into that classroom. And then that creates a gap in the para schedule. And if you have a couple paras that might be out on that same day, it just creates gaps and there's just the extra challenges. I mean, we always manage to get it covered. We have specialists that come in and help out. I'm covering lunch recesses, but it's just a challenge I've noticed. So. Can you open that from where you're at?
Yep.
And you can just see the first item there. I referenced the percentages from the school years, roughly 8 to up to 18%. And the other part of that is it's been noticed that a percentage of the students, I think it's 40 of the 115 that were in the truancy status, 35% performed at below the proficient and I don't have my glasses. Sorry, below proficiency. So we're also seeing, they're just not there, but we're also seeing an impact on the academic part of it. So throughout the CPR card, I would say almost all of those are focused on attendance and truancy. A couple things I've done coming in is we meet on a bi-weekly basis with our truancy team, and that's the secretary, our guidance counselor. We review the spreadsheet that Casey Smith sends out every couple weeks. We're sending our letters. We're setting up parent meetings. Terry Bronson, our counselor, she started off and has done a truancy group now. She had different groups for the different grade levels, and it's more about getting the kids excited about coming to school.
Right.
It's not just talking about, why aren't you here? It's the flip side of that is getting the kids excited. We, during our weekly, or I should say monthly PBIS celebrations, we're starting to celebrate classrooms and their percentages. And it's not a contest. I'm just reading the percentages for the month prior and just getting kids excited. Just reminding them that we love it when they're there each and every day. So that's the big focus of the CPR card.
David, do you, just thinking about the topic, is it challenges with getting the kid there, or are there challenges with engaging the parent, or is it, like you were saying, like the resource supports for the parent to get the kid there? Like there's those different paths.
At the elementary, I would say it's more the parent.
Right.
When you get into more the secondary level, it falls more onto the student.
Sure.
The parent and the resources. For example, I met with a couple parents, and transportation is a concern.
Right.
And we have busing set up, but if the student happens to miss the bus, they don't have reliable transportation to get the student. And they've actually sent him, they'll order a cab to get him to school.
Yeah.
So, that's just one situation.
Right. Or parents sleep overnight or work overnight. Yeah. Okay.
Well, that's what I would say is more noticeable at the elementary level.
Thank you.
Yep. Any other questions?
Amy, is there still that community truancy group?
We're struggling with engaging a wider community group of community resources around that conversation. I think our principals are working really closely together and working really closely with them, but I think we struggle to engage on a broader community group. So that has been a challenge this year.
I'm just hearing the lack of resources. We can only do so much.
Brooke was at the county And she resigned this last summer.
Oh, okay.
She was a huge resource that we were able to tap into. So,
Cool.
what was her last name?
Just Fitzgerald.
Fitzgerald, yeah. So she was a really great resource.
Okay,
Thank you very much, David.
thanks, David. Great job.
And that's all I have for tonight.
And then you will see on the agenda that the next board meeting, we'll have updates from Mr. Harrelson from the high school and from our student representatives, and then hoping to get a report from Caitlin Knoll, senior project coordinator, on not only the senior project, but then a recap from the Superior days.
Hey,
All right, next on the agenda, Personnel Negotiations Committee, Mr. Nick Olson.
This should only take 45 minutes. Bear with me.
I double the time on like the YouTube videos. Double.
Okay. Administration recommends approval of the April 2026 new hires and separations report.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Here, a motion and a second. Any discussion?
We have one retirement, and Chris Welch, and some resignations as well, but Chris has been with us for a very long time. Always at our call. I mean, he was a phenomenal engineer for our district and especially for Great Lakes the last few years. Amazing young man. Grew up in Superior and just stayed right here and wanted to work here.
Yeah, it's always tough to lose people that have dedicated a large part of their life to our district. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Administration recommends releasing Lauren Miller, speech language pathologist from SHS from her 25-26 school year contract per her request effective March 20, 2026 with the liquidated damages provision waived.
Motion to approve.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, motion carries. Okay. We're gonna have some help on this next one, but we'll approve first and then we'll get Dan up here. Administration recommends approval of the updated job descriptions and IT restructure for the following positions in the professional category. Technology Specialist 1, Technology Specialist 2, Student Information Systems Coordinator, and Network Administrator.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. And Dan, you want to come? Sure. Give us some insight into this?
He's like, he'll figure it out. He can't.
So the IT restructuring is not a standalone thing. It's actually one of 5 different puzzle pieces that I've kind of got under the works right now. So I thought it warranted us taking a little bit of a step back. I was here on January 5th when I first stepped into the role and kind of gave you the up, catching up to speed on where we're at, what I was going to look at for the first year or so. We decided not to take a year. We decided to do 3 months instead. So just to kind of review the mission vision, we're looking at making sure that all of our tech is up to speed. It's reliable, secure. Everybody has equitable access to technology for education. And then our department delivers reliable, efficient, and secure services. So with those things in mind, you saw the same slide back in January, looking at kind of the 4 pillars that our department works through or from. And on the next few slides, if you see something pop up in red, it is a place where, as I was kind of doing an analysis of our department, where I saw something that I thought needed to change or needed to be improved. From the safety lens, we are still sitting pretty well. We have a good cybersecurity team. We've done a great job of making our staff aware of phishing attempts, giving them avenues to report things. We still have multi-factor authentication and our digital citizenship lessons K through 12. So we're sitting pretty good there. Continuous improvement. We're using data to drive our decision-making and supporting our professional development. When it came to our future ready team, we noticed some room for improvement with efficiency, and we'll come back to that a little bit later. In particular, the number of people we have on the team and how long it takes sometimes to get through some of those meetings and how frequently we've been doing that. Communication wise, the building instructional tech leaders, they are part of that future ready team. So those are kind of two pieces of the same puzzle here. And we still have our ticketing system in place. We're looking to optimize that as well. And then equitable decision-making, taking a look at student needs, and we'll also come back to that one in just a minute here, but it comes down to equipment. What choices are we making on our devices? Are we getting the ones that are needed? Are we, spending more money than we need to, and all of that, because we want to be fiscally responsible as well. So, and then that was the state of our department back on January 5th. Since then, you'll notice Ben Giserta was actually on the previous piece as a resignation. So we have a current opening in our department. And what I did is I went through and analyzed who we have, where we have them, and what they're doing to see how efficient we are. With that, I also took a look and did a comparative analysis with other IT departments for districts that are similar in size to us. And Holman, Marshfield, and Beaver Dam were the three that are the most directly comparable. I was at a brainstorm conference about a month ago, and I met with a lot of other IT directors from across the state. We had a lot of side conversations in between different sessions about what their departments look like, how they utilize people, how much they're spending on things, what devices they use, all kinds of stuff like that. And then I've been working with Dave Gunlatch from Heartland Business Systems. They are the ones who came in and did the audit of our infrastructure. And he has been serving as kind of a mentor to me because he went through the IT direction. He was assistant superintendent. He's been at all the different levels of this thing. So he has a lot of great advice that I can learn from instead of having to go through it first. And with all of that, concluded that we have a model right now in the IT department where, the saying a jack of all trades, but a master of none is a good comparison to what we currently have. We have all of our techs are good to a certain level at a lot of things, but we don't really have a tiered escalation level where if there is a problem that one of them doesn't know the answer to, we don't have anybody to kick it up to. So we want to look at having a tiered hierarchy system where we have kind of our baseline help desk type of techs. Then we have people who are a little bit more specialized. And then that leads up into a network administrator who has the highest level of specialization and knowledge and certification. So we're looking at how we do that. So I went through our personnel files, saw where the strengths and gaps are for our different levels of education, who has an IT degree versus a certificate versus just experience. And our current structure doesn't have that specialization. So we started looking at where is the most critical place to put that. And then how do we tie that into some of our long-term projects and determine that we absolutely need a network administrator level person who is capable of doing the high security stuff, designing the architecture of our system, and working with me to make sure that all of that infrastructure is in place for what we want to do from the curriculum end and from every other end of the district. And again, that tiered escalation system, and then increasing our ability to impact every level across the district, not just instruction. So this is the proposed restructure. Casey is going to be in her same position. We're rewording the name of it a little bit. It's a student information systems coordinator, which is exactly what she does. She is heading up our data privacy. She does all reporting. She does a lot of tasks for all across the district. Darren Koval was kind of working multiple different aspects of a tech role. He is best qualified to be at Superior High School with us, helping out with the continuous improvement and assessment there, the ACT testing, getting all of that stuff prepared for that, and being a mentor and support for our tier 1 specialists. Taylor is going to come over to the middle school. We are actually going to give him a little bit extra duty as well, which I'll outline in the next slide here. But then he'll also support assessment at SMS. Darren and Taylor are currently our 2 most qualified technicians that we have. That's why I'm asking to put those 2 into those Tech 2 roles. Kendra and Adam then are more of our frontline responders, help desk level, if you want to think of it that way, and doing more of the on-site support at the elementary level. So when I mentioned 5 different puzzle pieces, those are the current 5 projects that I have opened up. The IT department restructuring is on the left. The green highlight is where I currently am in the process, flowing from top to bottom. We're looking at restructuring, and then that tiered hierarchy, vetting out and hiring a network administrator, and then setting up pathways that my techs can improve their credentials. So we're looking for continuous improvement throughout the entire framework there. Future Ready team, I mentioned, we've already gone through, analyzed how effective that team is, valued out whether the stipends made sense compared to what was being done. And we're reworking those a little bit to reallocate some funding and have some more representation at the elementary level with that. So we're down at restructuring with that. Device optimization is where we talked about being financially and fiscally responsible with what we choose. We are currently looking at switching over to Chromebooks at the K-5 level. From a price point and a management standpoint on the IT, like the behind the scenes stuff, it is a lot more cost effective. Just the costs from K-5 alone, we're looking at from one model to the next was about $135,000 savings. So we're looking at that. It also fits into the tech standards that we have at the K-5 level, because those have just been updated as well. Looking at teaching the kids how to use them more as a computer than a tablet and a touchscreen. So we're looking at that with those. So we've taken a look at being mindful of money budgets, being budget neutral on that. And that's one huge chunk that we use to move toward that. And then the last 2, those are going to be from a curriculum lens. We would like, there are a couple of red lines that kind of blend in between a couple of the columns here. Currently at SHS, we don't really have a complete IT computer science pathway. We have a few classes. They're really not set up for like the same way we are with some of our AP classes with biology and language arts and all of that. So I will be working with Ryan and Crystal and other people up at the high school to see what we can do as far as developing that pathway. And what I would like down the road a little bit is to have juniors and seniors who are in a position to take advantage of a youth apprenticeship program.
Yes.
Where they will be coming down to the middle school, where I've already talked with Aaron Liebers, and we're looking at taking over. Currently, it's a Spanish room. We're looking at rearranging the building a little bit because that's right off of the library. Used to be a computer lab. It's a perfect spot to do a larger hardware repair type of area. And that would be where the youth apprentice would come in and work with Taylor or whatever tech is there on some of that pathway. I'm looking at other programs that we have. There are some colleges and a couple of computer manufacturers that actually provide online programming for training. Acer being one of them, who conveniently is that fiscally responsible choice when I talked about Chromebooks. That is one of the reasons we went with Acer. It wasn't just the price point, it was the reliability of the devices and the training for youth apprentices when we get to that point. So there's a whole lot of stuff open right now. It's not just restructuring IT as far as, you know, that tiered hierarchy of being more effective. It's feeding into these other pieces, which I'll probably be back talking to you about at some point here.
I like how you see how everything fits together.
Mhm.
That makes sense.
It's a large puzzle.
Mhm.
But I think at the end, we'll have an IT pathway at the high school. We'll have kids coming down, being part of our programming and our repair system. And ideally, I would like to see some of those kids, when they graduate with that IT pathway, they can actually come back as techs in the district and then work their certification level up and then move out to bigger and better things as well. Because we're sitting in a prime spot with Essentia and the colleges and everybody else around here, where we can develop some of this stuff to keep our kids local.
And what does our support look like then for the elementary schools?
So what it will look like, right now, we're doing a little bit of a rotation with Adam and Taylor. They typically rotate through one of the 5 elementary schools per week. So 2 of them, right? We have 2 techs that show up at 2 different buildings during the week. The model that we're going to move to with Kendra and Adam is that they will start off at an elementary building, but that ticketing system that we currently have, that's going to be the response path that we're going to take.
So they'll go where the tickets are.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're gonna call it, it's swarm response. So it won't just be Kendra and Adam that will be responding to those. It'll be Taylor and Darren as well. Where we do all hands on deck at times, like for testing and things like that anyway. So they're already used to that model. The biggest thing is just getting them into that escalation mindset where they don't have to fix the problem themselves. They can work with each other to escalate it up to somebody who's specialized in it.
More time efficient too.
Yes.
Mhm.
And time is money. So the more things that we can have them get done quicker, the more efficient we are on the back end of that as well. So that kind of summarizes our long range projects that I just went through on the graphics with it. But it's really all about trying to get more out of what we have and stay budget neutral, or maybe even a little bit better than that. So
is there any financial impact to the restructure to the positions themselves?
no, not really. So we're going to look at restructuring a little bit on how they're paid. The tech ones, we're going to look at an hourly framework for versus a salaried one. It really doesn't change much overall. But it's just being a little bit more efficient with how we have them set up. Any other questions?
Nice job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? You just approve these as a, right?
I think the proposal is that they're a package. Yeah.
You can take them as a slate.
Structure.
So hearing no more discussion, all those in favor signify by saying
I,
aye. Motion carries. Don't worry, I just got started.
Doing fine.
Thanks. Some water. Administration recommends approval of the changes to the employee handbook for the 2026-2027 school year per the attached summary. Molly, you want to highlight changes or?
Sure.
Move to approve first.
Motion to approve.
Thanks.
Yes.
Hold on, Molly. Hearing a motion, a second, any discussion? Thanks.
Already have one little change in here that we can talk about, so that's the break. First couple things obviously are just changes for the new school year academic calendar and the org chart. We would update the IT structure on there. Teacher section. So we had been talking about adding language for teachers that take the leadership positions, so like dean of students, EMLSS, instructional coaches, those types of positions. I think some of them have been afraid to move into those in the chance that we have to lay them off at some point. So we did add some specific language in here. that would help them be able to keep a job if we do have to lay off any of those leadership type positions for teachers. The other piece that was added for teachers is the truing up of sick time. So you guys were at some of the listening sessions, you heard that people that are at the max of the sick time, then let's say that year that they are going to retire, they have to take 10 days. So that when they leave, they only have 140 days instead of 150. So what we're going to do is, and again, I think Kyle had mentioned it too, this is for only for staff that are at the max of the sick time. On the year that they retire, we would true them up using up to the 12 days that they would normally have gotten to the 150 days to pay that out into the HRA. Any questions on the teacher section? Okay. Support staff, this is, I'm going to add a little piece into each of these sections that says that this is meant for for staff that are at the max of the sick time. This isn't meant for somebody who's at 75 sick days when they retire. We're not going to true them up at the end of the year. This is only for the max. So I need to add that piece. And then there are school year support staff that only get 10 days per school year instead of 12. So I will need to correct that. 12 days is for a year-round support staff. So it'll say 10 days for school year support staff, but this is the same concept to give them up to the max of 150 days on the year of retirement. Same language for professional staff.
So just to clarify, Molly, you want to be a little more explicit that for these categories, you have to be at the max to be trued up. So that just has to be more explicit.
Yes.
That's okay.
Yeah, because that did come up from a support staff employee today. They had a question on that.
Do these need to be amended to go forward to next week or?
I was thinking I would just put it in red next week as a new change and then you would approve it or.
Because tonight's isn't official, it's just moving.
Right, move it.
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to make sure.
Administrator section, so similar to the teachers in leadership positions, we had no language in the administrator section of the handbook for reduction in force. So this would be for any administrator who needs to be laid off that has a teaching license, would put into a classroom position. And then that would be the criteria we would use for that. And then for administrators, they don't get 150 days paid out upon retirement. They only get 75 days. And so I am just aligning this to make the language more clear because it's, I think what people, they were confusing the 1/2 of the maximum number of sick days that can be accumulated. So I just put 75 days. So no change there. We're just, they get paid for up to 75 days. And extracurricular and co-curricular section. We had some stipends that were listed in those sections that one are either no longer being used or two, we're eliminating them from this section of the handbook and it's either embedded into the regular workday now, or we will pay those specific positions in a different way. So if it's like the extended contract rate for the actual work that they're doing. And then we're changing the name of the school paper to Spartan Spin. And then the last two things are just obviously the new payroll schedule and then our updated list of the 403B vendors that we changed this year.
That got reduced from.
That got reduced
A few.
from like 10 names down to 3. So we had Abaven do a vetting of all of the 403B vendors on our list, and they came back with the top rated 3 companies. And so that's who we're using now going forward. If staff already had a vendor that was on the list, we're grandfathering that in, they can still use that. Just going forward, we're going to use this list of the top 3 vendors.
And those vendors are better for staff.
Right, and it makes it a little more easy to pick. It's not so
Yeah.
overwhelming.
Yes, that is one of the reasons why they said we don't have a huge participation in our 403B is because when people look at the list, they're like, I don't want to choose from all those people. So they said the normal practice is to have 3 to 5 vendors for a company to choose from, so.
Anything else? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Administration and the Personnel and Negotiations Committee recommend the salary increase for teachers for the 2026-27 school year as listed below. The proposed salary increase was ratified by the Superior Federation of Teachers on March 26, 2026. Add 2% of the base step for the bachelor and master schedules for a total increase of $307,272.20. See attached new salary schedule.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion?
I just want to say, we heard what Kyle shared, so thank you, Kyle. And I am really looking forward to, many of us on the board attended presentations at the conference in January around restructuring and really doing a full evaluation of salaries. And I don't remember the official name, but the task force on, evaluating surveys, coming up with a 3 to 5 year plan to really get it aligned and also align with our financial situation. So I'm looking forward to that. We're doing status quo this year, but I think we're going to have a lot of work ahead of us to get it in the right place because it does sound inequitable. So we hear you.
I will get an email out to all staff after our regular board meeting. So I'll get an official kind of notice and invitation out
Awesome.
in a couple weeks.
Yeah. Thank you, Amy.
Tentatively scheduled to start
In August.
End of summer.
Yep. Yep.
Thank you to the committee members here that served, and then, of course,
Mhm.
Lee and the people that and the thing that I got back right away, message of, it's so nice to sit and talk and not be at each other's throats for something better to say. But the fact of the matter is it's become such a collegial thing. And it just works better when both groups understand what's going on, and we try to do the best that we can. And the fact is, you've been acknowledging that the last few years. Really looking forward to what this committee will come forward with.
For sure.
Steve, I just want to make a note that I won't be voting as usual because my wife's a teacher.
Correct. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Administration and the Personnel and Negotiations Committee recommend the salary increase for support staff for the 2026-27 school year as listed below. Add 2% to each step for a total increase of $129,029.36. See attached new salary schedule.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? I'm just going to reiterate that we went 2% on everybody's
Mhm.
to try to maintain some equitable status for increasing people's wages.
Mhm.
Hearing no discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Was I the only one?
Yeah, read it again because,
What?
Wake up, people.
yeah.
Jeez.
Nick, you have an excuse?
Yeah.
Or do you?
You can vote for support
Debs.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So you didn't have an excuse?
Staff.
Or staff, you
So did you,
Try it again.
he needed to abstain and you got that, right? Yeah, okay.
So we're on the support staff. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
I
Opposed? Motion carries.
thought I lost my hearing.
I haven't been talking that long.
I was scared.
I'm doing my best. Administration and the Personnel and Negotiations Committee recommend the salary increase for the hourly professional staff for the 26-27 school year as listed below. Add 2% to each step for a total increase of $9,625.81. See attached in your salary schedule.
Motion to approve.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
I
Opposed, motion carries. Administration and the Personnel and Negotiations Committee recommend the newly created salary schedule for the salaried professional staff for the 2026-27 school year as listed below. Created a new salary schedule incorporating the 2% increase for a total increase of $45,218.20. See attached new salary schedule.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion?
We just point out that you did this at the request of the board. Do you want to say anything about that?
And so we changed the professional salaried staff to be similar to administrators, where we eliminated the step schedule and it's just a range going forward. So either added the 2% into the scale or looked at, I mean, a lot of these positions can get jobs in all other industries. So when we do a salary comparison for them, we have to look outside of education into other industries. So that's what we did for these positions. So some of them have increased, some of them only went up to 2%.
Correct, and adding the new tech specialist to the.
Correct. The new technology positions are also added on here.
Yep. Thank you for that. Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Last one. Excited. Administration and the Personnel Negotiations Committee recommend the salary increase for administration staff for the 2026-27 school year as listed below at 2% to each range for a total increase of $50,247.70. See attached new salary schedule.
Motion to approve.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. And Mr. Olson, that concludes my report.
Well, thank you, Mr. Olson. Next, we have our Operations Committee.
I have one action item. Administration recommends approval of Resolution 26-01, establishing the attendance area for Superior Learning Academy for the 2026-2027 school year as submitted.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
David, anything you want to share on this?
People look at it, they see the maps a lot wider than their district. This is just kind of a requirement that they do that you have to do for private schools since they've never had an approved boundary before. I'm sure this is going to the other districts that they get into. But it does not affect, it does not mean we're going all the way up to like the Dagmont or busing or.
Is there a specific mile limit though?
Right.
That
What's our obligation?
we're obligated to go out to?
5 miles outside of our boundaries under the most common traveled route. And we're working well with SLA to, right now we're looking at just in the city. That expense is gonna probably be around $200,000. So we have to purchase a bus because we're gonna need an additional bus driver.
Right.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Informational items, buildings and grounds, the new director introduction, and I'm assuming
Corey, come on up.
coming at us with a Bryant and a middle school project status update.
Yeah,
All right.
welcome.
Welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you. Good to see you. A lot of familiar faces. I grew up here, graduated from Superior, had 4 kids graduate from Superior. So a lot of familiar faces. So I like to say I'm home finally. So I come with a technology background. I was a network administrator for many years, director of technology for a trucking firm. Then Duluth School District posted a new position. It was a building systems tech coordinator. So I took that role. It was a new position. Basically was responsible for all the new technology inside the buildings. So anything from the PA system to scoreboards to the heating, ventilation, which was huge.
David, did you hear?
Doors. So, yeah, I worked very well with the technology. I actually had administrative privileges over there.
Throwing it in, you know?
Yeah, it was a little different change going from the technology field, but it's all the same. So, really enjoy the building structural, technology side of things. Then I, kept on getting thrown into the administrative side of things, and I was the supervisor of the operations at Duluth when I left there. Supervised right around 70 staff members, from building engineers, custodian, the maintenance department. We did a lot of our maintenance right in-house. So, yeah. So coming here, today's day 10. So fairly new, so bear with me. One thing that I do that, going around the district so far, seeing a very positive work environment. My staff are very knowledgeable. I love seeing that. They take pride in their work. Thanks for recognizing Chris Belch. It's losing somebody like that. That's a wealth of knowledge. So, but great to have him when you have him. So, as far as the Bryant updates, we're going to be doing a walkthrough on some of the checkpoints of what was done last year. There's still a couple of things that need to be touched up. There's some stuff that was missed. So we're going to be meeting with them within the next couple of weeks, going over that, getting ready for the next adventure of the entry. We're waiting for the architectural prints before we can put it out for bid. That should be coming up here very shortly. Then for the Superior Middle School entry, they were waiting on parts. They thought they were going to have the parts ready for over spring break and actually have it installed over spring break. Parts got delayed. They're still waiting on them. It sounds like they're still going to move forward. They're going to tent the area and continue to work and get the project done. So.
I missed it. What's the timeline for the middle school project to be completed?
When
Okay.
the parts arrive,
okay.
and they're saying that
This
probably
summer?
in the next couple of weeks.
Oh, okay.
So they're gonna continue to move forward
Okay.
with it. They're not gonna wait.
I just want to speak to the Bryant project really quick. So our plan this summer was initially, we were planning to have summer school at Bryant and Northern Lights. However, given the ongoing construction project at Bryant, I think we will not be able to hold summer school at Bryant. So I know Jen's talking about getting a message out to families and staff about the changes for summer school coming up. So that has been an ongoing project that's been going on for a year now. And we will get it done this summer.
We'll get
I
it
am
done.
fully, I don't know, anything else you want to say about that, David? I know you've
I think
been,
the other part of it with Corey just coming on is we actually brought Bobby Matherly back in to help out on the projects. So he's been kind of, when we're in between directors, he was kind of heading those projects. I know he's been working with Corey really closely to ensure that we can get the stuff done on a good timeline and transition it over to Corey. Bobby's been super meticulous. It's been quite a change from what they had previously. Now they're going through the punch list, and then Corey's going through and walking through on the punch list as well. We're holding them to the fire now and saying that we're not going to accept anything but high quality work, and I think that was a little bit lacking at some point in time. So, yeah, it's really good having Corey on. What I didn't touch on is the buildings and ground stuff as much, but that guy knows more than I could ever know. He can talk the talk, and he knows how to support his team, and it's really nice to have a superior person here that's happy to be here. So I really look forward to working with Corey. We're in good hands now, so.
Ran into Bobby and I was like, you can't stay away, huh? And just thanked him again for hanging around and providing that, just a little additional support in the
He's
training.
really helped with some of the project management while the other directors have been trying to get their feet on the
Right.
ground and get familiar with your staff and your day-to-day operations.
Right.
That has been a nice support
Yeah.
that he's provided.
He's also a hugger. I didn't know that.
In retirement, he is, yeah.
He is a hugger.
Good to know.
Molly, write that down.
It's an opening.
It already happens.
Cute.
Oh, all right. Well, thank you.
Nice to meet you. Thank you. Welcome.
Yeah, welcome.
Thank you.
No discussional items, and that concludes my report.
Thank you. Teaching and learning. Walker.
All right, no action items, no discussion items, informational items. Jennifer Willoughby, Director of Early Childhood Education and Family Education. Update on Indian education. Welcome, Jennifer.
So I have kind of a lot to share with you today. We are in the very busy season of Indian Ed, and this year we are busier than ever. So the first thing I want to share with you is about Act 31. So if you recall, it was probably a year and a half ago, DPI pushed out a self-assessment, and they announced they were going to be updating some resources on their website and just kind of beefing up Act 31 in general for our districts.
Can you tell them what Act 31 is?
So it's a mandate to, I'm not going to get this right. It's a mandate to share about tribal sovereignty and tribes across Wisconsin. So we are just required to provide that to our students 2 times throughout their career here, once in elementary, but DPI defines elementary through 8th grade, and then once in high school. So we hit on it several times throughout their time here in Superior. However, that's what's required. So with that, a few years ago, Crystal and the instructional coaches created a document that outlined our standards and then resources and what the teachers are teaching at various grade levels throughout elementary through high school to meet Act 31 requirements. I picked it up last spring when the self-assessment came out, reached out to staff and teachers and asked them to take a look at it, do any updates, make any updates to this document as a place to start. Then I worked with Amy Patel this year. So in October, we met with the middle school teachers at a grade level day. In November, we met with the high school teachers, 11th grade. And then just recently in February, we met with the elementary 4th grade teachers. So I had all the different groups complete the self-assessment as a team. And then Amy and I just sat down recently and kind of looked through all of that data. Amy Patel and I looked through all of that data and kind of made next step goals for us based on the feedback we were getting from teachers. So I just want to share with you some of the feedback that they shared and kind of what we're thinking for next steps would be beneficial. One, they talked about resources. So they want more resources, more information, maybe more professional development or speakers, maybe a selection of speakers that could come into their classrooms to talk to their kids. Kind of all around resources in that category. So Amy is currently working on creating a list of resources for middle school and high school teachers with videos and articles, things like that they could share. At the elementary level, she's going to work on embedding those resources into the slideshows that they already access to teach in 4th grade. And then we really talked about professional development, kind of targeting with middle school and high school. Elementary teaches all the subjects, middle school and high school, that's kind of that's their focus area and what they teach as a social studies teacher. And so we really thought we would focus in on supporting those teachers with the instructional coaches through grade level pullout time moving into next year. So I'll be kind of my next steps. I'll be connecting with the coaches to talk with them about how we want to work through this, and then really setting up a plan for providing some additional professional development. In addition to that, DPI hosts an American Indian Summer Institute every year. And a couple of years ago, I went to Siren and spent time there. It's 5-day institute. It's very intensive, but it's really an amazing experience. This year they're in Hayward. So, so pushing out an invite to middle school and high school teachers to see if anybody would like to join me in that work this summer also. So.
And I remember seeing when they pushed out that self-assessment, are you willing to share that with the board? I'd like to see how we assessed ourselves and then like kind of what that plan looks like. I don't know if it's with Crystal or you, but.
I have to clean it up because
Okay.
it's all chicken scratch right now.
Sure.
I'm ready, but I'm happy
Yeah.
to clean that up and share that with you.
Yeah, and I think you had some parents looking at it too, or I know when Becky was in that position, she was also looking at it.
Self-assessment?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, okay.
This is the self-assessment through DPI is curriculum related
Right.
primarily. So I don't.
There were some surveys sent out to parents about how could the group better support.
Yes.
Got it.
The advisory committee?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And that's mainly to meet our goals and our
Right.
objectives for Title VI funding.
Okay.
So we have to create goals and objectives each year.
Got it.
So we survey the families every year to gather feedback from them on that. So.
Thank you.
We post like the scope and sequence document that I referred to about what we teach in what grade
Mhm.
on our website. And I think tomorrow Casey is going to get our new updated version updated on the website. So anyone can access that.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions about that before I move on to what we have going on? All right, so I'm going to kind of run through a bunch of different activities and events. Please feel free to ask questions. Just to share with you, we just had a harvesting red willow and hand drum making event earlier this month on the 6th. When we didn't have school, we were at Northern Lights. Students went out and collected red willow, aka dogwood, to create their own tobacco, and then we made hand drums. We have a hand drum contest coming up for our powwow, so we have many students who are interested in making those, and we've made them a few times already now. Passport to the World event, we were just there Thursday the 8th at the middle school. It's a district-wide event, but we had an Indian Ed table. We had fry bread. We gave books away. One of our students was there showing off his traditional lacrosse stick. We had beadwork and regalia as just kind of a nice display there. So we had a lot of families stopping by to see what we were doing and say hi and try the fry bread, which is always a favorite. Unconventional Opportunities Expo. I'm taking students tomorrow from the high school to Red Cliff. We are going to be there for the day. It's essentially a career fair that is outside the norm of a college fair. So it's for trade schools, and it'll have apprenticeship from various trades there to talk to students about career paths. They'll have somebody there speaking about how to open your own childcare center and just a variety of alternative opportunities for students to explore. So I'm taking about 10 kids with me tomorrow to do that. Native Pathways grant, we receive a grant in which supports my work working with students to complete their FAFSA forms, and also looking at scholarships and applying to colleges, and just kind of exploring all the parts and pieces of creating a college application, and how to do that well. And so I've provided these events several times already, but I've got another rotation of them starting this week. And then Saturday, I'm bringing a group of students, about 12, to Minneapolis, to the Hennepin Health Garden for the Youth with Stethoscopes Summit. We have gone to this a few times in the past. We haven't been for 2 years now, but every time we go, it's an amazing experience for kids. They spend the whole day hands-on learning about medical fields. They get to speak with medical professionals who are Native themselves and talk about their journey. They all receive a lab coat with their name on it and their tribal affiliation on it as well. It's a pretty amazing experience for our kids. We have our last regalia making event coming up the 24th. So that'll be the last one before the powwow. I'm sure we'll do it again next year, but we've had several families and students who have said, we need one more time to get together to finish working on these things. So our students and families have been busy making ribbon skirts, ribbon shirts, jingle skirts, things like that. And our powwow is coming up on Saturday, May 2nd at the middle school. We'll be there Friday night setting up and learning about powwow etiquette. And then we'll be there 1 to 7 on Saturday. Everybody's welcome to join us. Pop on over and say hi. Check it out. We haven't had a powwow here in Superior through the school district in about 15 years. So we're very excited to have this up and running again. We've been collaborating with UWS to make it happen, and it'll be, I think, small, but that's okay. We'll grow that as we go along. We'll have local vendors, Native vendors there serving their food and what they sell. And so we'll have 4 different vendors. I believe 3 of them are traditional Native food, and then 1 is barbecue. So Native graduation celebration invites have been sent out to students. I have invites over here for all of you. Got to grab them. So we'll be at the high school this year. Here, I'll just pass those. You can papers. We'll be at the high school this year. We're gonna meet right outside the PAC and then be inside the PAC for our ceremony with the students. 6 to 8 that night. So again, you have an invite. Please join us. We'll have an elder there again to talk with the students about smudging and the practice of smudging and teaching them that. And then they receive their smudge kit as a gift from us. So it's a pretty, it's a nice evening if you haven't met. And then Native drumming will drum again at high school graduation at the end of May.
The same message be in the program meeting.
Yes.
Oh, thank you, Jennifer. Appreciate it.
Is that all?
That's it. That brings us to the end of the school year, and then that's it for a while.
You've done such a phenomenal.
You are doing a great job, Jen.
Thanks, everybody.
All right, Kate Tesh, Director of Continuous Improvement and Assessment, with some exciting state assessment update.
All right.
Always.
No test, but I just wanted to let you know kind of where we were at with the assessment season that never ends. It's kind of like our spring here. It really is. Winter never ending, spring never beginning. So we are close to the end of state testing. So far, we have the majority of our students are 11th graders. So we'll start with 11th grade and work backwards. The ACT, we had a really, I think it was just a really great day altogether. We had the best attendance on one day of testing we've ever had in the 7 years I've done this work. We had over 90% of students who should have been there in person on time. We handed out very limited spare computer, like kids were ready, they were prepared. It was really a great testament to teachers preparing kids, parents, kids, like everybody. It was a really great, it's a lot going on and a lot of kids all at one time, but it was impressive. I was proud of the kids for being ready to go. So we had over 90% of our kids tested that day. As a reminder, we're really always shooting for at least 95% of our kids tested. That's the benchmark in terms of some accountability measures, but we're always trying to gather data on all of our students. I think that is really important, and I think we do a really nice job attempting, if at all possible, to test all of our kids.
Kate, when does that window close?
The window closes, well, we're in window 3 of the ACT, which closes this Friday. I think we're anticipating testing a minimum of 2 more additional students, either Thursday or I think Thursday this week. Students who are out of the building for an extended time are back. So we're going to attempt another testing session for the ACT.
We do have some students, so the ACT is interesting because the students have to create their My ACT portal where the results come electronically. They don't come to us first. So kids start getting their results, and I always wait to hear from somebody magically tells me that kids are starting to get their results. They don't all come at the same time. So that's really hard for kids because some kids will get their results and other kids will say, email me, I don't have my, somebody said they have their results and I don't. So the state still hasn't released all of them. I do not have access to all of them yet, but I am slowly getting them. We're not allowed to share the results with families until they're certified, which we will do as soon as they're certified through the DPI. But right now, my encouragement is kids logging into their My ACT portals, parents asking those questions. I'm happy to help navigate that. But I know those are exciting results to see and make sure that we get them. So I'll help everybody I can as soon as we have access to share those with families. We will do that. The pre-ACT for our 9th and 10th graders happened last week on the 8th. We are approaching 95% tested. We did a bunch more makeups today. That's double the number of students. So we had almost 600 students on that day. Also a successful testing day. We have a number of makeups still to go. We have until the 24th to make up the pre-ACT. So we have another week really till the 23rd as we have staff development day.
I want to add to that because I think Ryan's communication was the clearest I've ever seen.
Great.
Like it was just, it was simple, but really concrete. And so it was like, oh, I just want to add that from my perspective. Yeah.
We've worked hard together and he's done a nice job with that messaging.
It was great to see the text and the email and phone call, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like boom, 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 like what's happening?
You cannot miss this.
Yeah, that was great.
We did have some people say they didn't know, so we will continue to try to get everybody aware. The pre-ACT results we will send to guardians via school messenger when we get those. I just checked the DPI dashboard again for their results release. Their date is late spring, early summer. So as soon as that happens, we'll let you know. We'll send those out as soon as we get them.
Maybe.
And I do think we're doing a nice job, and many of you have said this too, but the pre-ACT really does help us. It gives kids a connection once they have their first score report, because now we can actually connect to the ACT. And I think that getting kids engaged is the most successful way to have a more successful ACT. So we have through next week to finish that up. We are then the forward exam, grades 3 through 8 and 10th grade social studies. Testing's happening in all the buildings. Elementary kind of happens throughout an entire month. Middle school, we had 2 solid weeks where really successful testing. When you're testing, 900, 800 and some kids at one time, every day for a couple of weeks, they have a really solid system, and it really is the whole staff coming together to make that successful. Our DLM tests happen for our students who are accessing alternative standards. That's in conjunction with our forward exam. And then the Act 20 assessments started last week. So Ames Web on the 21st. So our 4K, K, 1, 2, and 3 are starting their Ames Web assessments. So 3rd grade does have that overlap with forward and Ames Web. And we will send results for that, the Ames assessments, to parents on the 24th via school messenger, and work on our spring personal reading plan updates, etc. Just as a reminder for the Act 20 information, this will be our first spring where the conversation around 3rd grade becomes part of the statute around 3rd grade retention or promotion, and we updated our policy last year. But I think it's important that we have added a piece, Jen spoke about it, for summer school where we will have reading intervention as a component of summer school, and we're offering that to all of our families of 3rd graders who will still be on reading plans. It's their option whether or not they choose to enroll, but highly encourage it. It's a great opportunity to continue working on those reading skills, and then we'll be updating those plans. In 3rd grade, the only way to be exited from a plan is if students are proficient or meeting the 25th percentile on Ames and meeting on the 4th. So it's the and clause in 3rd grade. We'll continue to work teachers EMSS, everybody's been working really hard, principals on that communication. And then Fast Bridge window, which is our normal typical spring window, which happens in May. We will open that up in May for the math, just our own benchmark data collection for spring.
Is there like a map or like a, this happens in January? Is
I have
it like that?
chart.
Okay.
Yep,
Can we have that?
absolutely. Any other questions, comments? And I'll share data with you as we get it. Thanks, Kate.
All.
That is it. Budget, insurance, Captain's online, but I will take hers. Informational items, Fund 10 revenue and expenditure preliminary report. David, anything to update there?
You're kind of in line, you might notice our revenue looks like it's down, but that's because this year we actually moved our tax levy, we're supposed to put our tax levy money into 138.39 first, and we hadn't done that in the past. So we did that this year because we have that ability, so.
I did email the teachers asking about extracurriculars and clubs and things, just because there are quite a few that are in the negative. And I know I brought it up before, but I just want to make sure that these groups that are in the negative aren't in the negative all the time, that maybe if we're hitting state every year, that might be doing some more fundraising to get them out of the negative, just so other groups aren't carrying them.
One thing to note on there is robotics was a new
Right.
program we brought in.
Correct.
They're going to be self-funded, so that is, they have revenue on the other side. The other one is archery, which kind of threw me, because I only had an archery team. I don't think we do have an archery team, but everyone else is getting pushed into archery. And that's another one where that actually gets funds from students paying in. I'm also going to try to transition that over to Fund 80 when I need to free up some money.
I thought there was at the elementary school or middle
Middle
school.
school.
That's what you're saying. It's part of intramurals.
Yeah.
It's just, it's coded
It's
wrong on
only
here.
part of intramurals, not its own. Got it. Sorry.
Is the stipend for the teacher that is actually leading the group, is that included in the amount for the expense? So, okay.
That's what drives pretty much the whole expense.
Yeah, that's really the only expense, right?
Stipends we're giving to all the teachers, which is, they've really built that program up really well.
Oh, I'm not talking about archery specifically. I'm talking about everything. So like the basketball coaches. Is
The
their
intramural,
stipend-
the intramural
No,
stuff?
No, like
Yep.
basketball at the high school.
Oh,
Like the coach gets paid and that amount is included in that.
Yep. that's
Okay.
all- It's all that concept.
Okay.
David, is the state reimbursement, like when we go to state hockey, wrestling, gymnastics, where does that show up as? Because I don't think that's hit us yet. So winter, WIA reimburses small amounts to us for traveling and staying in hotels and whatnot. So it originally has to come out of some of these. Some of the lines that are under in my specific breakdown are like the adult travel. So when we go to state, we can't throw the hotel rooms for the adults and the kids in the same, so they come out of here. So in my mind, that's a great negative to have. But I do, like, we do get some reimbursements. We get reimbursements from the state that don't necessarily reflect on here, if I'm correct. I don't know if that comes in. It's not a ton, but like, looking at the bottom line, we have 1/3 of our budget left for athletics right now. So I think in terms of scheduling, and looking at our home and away contests are not always the same. I try to go down as much as I can. But kind of looking at all of these, I wouldn't say that they're always the same that are under. But just kind of budget through that bottom line. I'd say we're very, very cautious of what our coaches spend from this, versus the extras, the meals on the road and everything that's completely fundraised.
Is each organization able to fundraise on their own?
They
one
do.
Big fundraiser.
They do one big one.
We do one big one per season. And then money goes into a pot to support our overall activities. So, our uniform purchase rotation, our work in the weight room and our strength and conditioning program, or who pays for that, extra facility improvements. And then once we get the budgeted line that we set with my fundraising committee, then the rest goes back to the individual sport. So each sport, yes, has an opportunity to fundraise for their own stuff.
Yeah, because I've brought this up before, like, it is very difficult as a parent of a child in multiple sports to be fundraising and asking the same people for money repeatedly. And I wish we could fund these better, because I'm not saying people shouldn't donate, but like, it's just
It's tough.
really, thank you. It is hard to keep, and you're, you know, as a business owner, everyone's like, oh, who owns a business? And small businesses are being hit hard, and
Well, that's what we used to do
Just-
10 years ago. We had one process for gathering and fundraising, and we didn't do the individual sports. So that may need to be revisited.
and I'm not trying to hurt anything, but it's just like, and then we're making meals, right? And so we are doing, I mean, there's all these additional things that we're asked to do as parents to support the kids, which is great, but it does create financial hardships. And I'm glad we offer the sliding fee, you know, for, you know, signing up for that. But I'm just really curious, you know, the families that are lower income, you know, does this get to a point that it makes it inaccessible or difficult for them to participate?
I would say that in my direction to coaches as well, and I think we have a really good understanding of that, is my coaches know that they cannot require families to pay extra money. They know that the fundraising is there for all of those. I'll be honest, it's keeping up with the Joneses, because everybody, when you see anything about brand new gear from the guys down the road or this and that,
Right.
that's what we're living with.
Yeah.
And the reality of, why do you not have a spaghetti feed when every other program does?
Yep.
It's hard for a coach to say no.
Concession, so then you're working, yeah,
And our programs and our coaches work harder than anybody, and I'll stand up to that.
Agree.
100 times over,
I hear you.
and for the amount of money they get paid.
Yep.
I think my coaches aren't lining up at the door trying to do more things.
I know,
They
I
can't handle
know,
that, right?
I know,
But they also want to give the best thing for each kid.
yeah,
And so I think I just was meeting with David about that today, about fundraising. We don't want to be asking everybody for money all the time. And in athletics, it's the most visible thing, and it's the sponsorships and all that. How can we work as a team to try to capitalize on that, to help with the Bryan building and the middle school and all this kind of stuff, like,
Yeah.
so, I definitely hear that, and I do, you know, we do try to crack down as much as possible. You can talk to a lot of my coaches who get to know, who are like, why can't we take this? Why can't we do that? You know, and, I appreciate that viewpoint, Laura, because it is really important to us, because also those families want their kids to have the best as well.
Yeah.
And we understand that too, so.
and the other co-curricular groups like Pledge Makers, my son's in that, we're not fundraising for that, you know, it's like, I'm just like, there's certain things that are costing a lot of extra, anyways.
Groups allowed to fundraise?
Yeah, they do. We have a lot of fun 21s that they banned.
There's a number of them though that do not have the same
You know, they're extremely expensive. Yeah, yeah.
transportation for a number of things.
So I mean, some are fundraising for charter buses or new warm-ups or, you know.
Speaking of that, I mean, that's one thing they can do a better job of messaging, like, what am I fundraising for?
I agree. Yeah.
Because even if you're just highlighting
I
a
get
couple
asked that.
things,
Mm-hmm.
because people are gonna ask, like,
Yeah.
what are you raising money for?
Yeah. Is this paying for uniforms? Doesn't the school?
I
do that?
understand
Right.
I understand there's a pool and like that, but if you're highlighting a couple things, it would be easier to request money for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
Uniforms or whatever.
Thank you for listening to the both and situation, but it just, yeah. I want it to be accessible for everyone, and I know, Ella, you do a good job communicating that, just have to bring that up.
Anything else, David?
That's it for
All
that.
right. One action item, gifts, grants, and bequests. Administration recommends approval to accept gifts, grants, and bequests received in March 2026.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion second to approve the gifts, grants, and bequests.
Thank you.
Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We have a very exciting action item next Monday evening on the 20th, where we'll have broker here talk about our insurance plan. Stay tuned for that, and I know all of you will want to be here.
Are you being
No,
sarcastic?
no, really.
Don't want to.
Don't really react. All right, Mr. President, that's all I have. Well, thank you. Next, Policies and Rules Committee. Shelley.
Right, we have a few action items tonight. Administration proposes the approval of changes to the following policies based on Neola recommendations. Administration recommends approval of the first reading of policy 3340, grievance procedure. This policy is being updated to match the current Act 10 laws.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I just want to point out that it was through a review of this policy in the last month or so that we recognized it was outdated. It missed an update from Neola probably a few years ago. So this is that update.
When you get down into C, it just says board. Do we need to clarify and say school board? I mean, I feel like everything else that we've been doing says school board, not just board. And there's no school board at the top, and then it just kind of switches to board.
Is it referenced at the very beginning of the policy book where it says
I don't know.
Board of Education, and then like when I write for the state, it's like
That's what I don't know.
Department of blah, 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 department.
Right.
It says it several times in there where it's just the board.
Right.
Would you like it to say the Board of Education or?
Well, no, because it needs to be standard throughout the whole thing. I'm not saying no, but
That's
the
what-
whole thing.
That's
should
what I'm
say.
asking. Is the whole document the school board?
I
Or is
hear you,
it
girl. Yes.
like, is this the only one that we're saying the board? I know it's like it's petty, but
It says board,
It does.
I'm looking right now for
Yeah,
another
fine.
example.
many policies, just says. You could change it to school.
Well, at the end of B, it says by the board.
On policy 3213, which is coming up about student supervision and welfare, there's how many? 1, 2,
I feel like other ones have said the school board.
3, 4. What did, I just saw it, sorry. It's in one of these, It's in here too as board.
The board.
yes,
So this is correct. Is that what I'm hearing?
yes.
Okay.
Seems like.
Okay.
Oh yeah, the first sentence, or paragraph, sorry. It is the intent of the board.
Perfect.
Any other discussion? Great, hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, the first reading of policy 1213, administrators, student supervision and welfare. This policy establishes a standard of care to protect student safety by clearly defining behavioral boundaries for all staff. As required by 2025 Wisconsin Act 57, the updated language mandates that parents be notified of sexual misconduct reports by 5 p.m. on the same day or noon the next day is the report is received on the school day after the end of regularly scheduled instruction or on a day that is not a school day by noon of the next calendar day. A new comprehensive optional section on appropriate staff and student relationships further safeguards students by explicitly prohibiting boundary invasions such as grooming, inappropriate digital contact, or unauthorized transport. Violations of this policy may result in disciplinary action up to and including termination and may be reported to external agencies as required by law.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I just want to point out that these 3 policies are being updated to be in compliance with the new Act 57. So all 3 of them pertain to that act. So all 3 of them need to be updated.
It's pretty straightforward.
And this policy and the next one are the same adjustments because one's for professional staff and one's for administrators.
Approved separately.
Yes.
Any discussions? Right, hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Right, first reading of policy 3213, professional staff, student supervision and welfare. Do you need me to read that paragraph again?
No, I don't think so.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? All right, hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. First reading of policy 8462, child abuse and neglect. This policy establishes a comprehensive framework for the mandatory identification and immediate reporting of child abuse or neglect. It requires all staff to complete Department of Public Instruction, DPI training within their first 6 months and every 5 years thereafter. A critical update aligned with 2025 Wisconsin Act 57 integrates specific reporting requirements for sexual misconduct by staff members carrying severe disciplinary consequences for a failure to report. By strictly prohibiting investigative delays by staff, the policy ensures that law enforcement and child welfare agencies can intervene immediately to protect students and preserve evidence. The changes are required for policy compliance with Wisconsin Act 57.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion.
Molly, does this include substitute teachers as well?
Yep, all of the staff do the training through Public School Works, which is the DPI vetted training.
Can you remind me how it's tracked too?
So it's tracked in that it's its own system. So like we can pull up staff transcripts in there of all of the modules that they've completed since we.
They have to pass an assessment too.
I'm more worried about the 5-year thing, I guess, too,
So
but
that they track that. So every, the beginning of every summer, I sit down with Public School Works and we say, this is what cycle we're on.
yeah,
And then pick all the modules that are going to be assigned in August.
wonderful. Thank you.
Because there are some things that are required every year, some things required every 3 years. Like, so that's what Molly has to go through, all of those required trainings.
Why, she's so awesome.
Other discussion? Right, hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carries. This is the end of my report.
Yes, go ahead.
I ran into Liz, who works for like an anti-tobacco agency, and she was raving about our students that are traveling for their anti-vape campaign. And so I was really hoping to learn more about what that group's doing. So I don't know if they can come or talk about it or show us, but I know that's a big.
I don't know what group that is. Yeah, is it like,
You're going to present somewhere.
I was gonna say Jane Larson probably knows. She's brought students to the board meetings before.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. I would just be excited to hear about some of the anti-vape work happening at the school.
Now, next week we have, next week we have, our student and the principal.
Yeah, maybe
You want me to have, okay,
Cool.
okay.
And I can find out more information if, about the contact person at the district, because I thought it'd be Jane too, but it wasn't.
Oh, it wasn't? No, okay, okay.
She probably knows. Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
Okay.
Well, thank you very much. Long meeting. We like to thank the directors because you put in a long day and then come once a month to spend a lot of time with us, and we appreciate that. Our next meeting will be the regular meeting next Monday, April 20th. We will begin at 5. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Second.
Bye.
Don't